Hey guys, welcome back to Maxplained Dawn of War Unification. Today I have another faction guide for you, and yeah, if I had to name a faction that is my favorite to play as, it is the Steel Legion. The Steel Legion is an Imperial Guard regiment, more offensively based, not as much bunkering down like Death Corps of Greek or the regular Imperial Guard Soulstorm features, so it's more offensive in that way. Has also two doctrines: infantry focused doctrine and a tank focused faction with different unit options and different strengths in the different tiers, so we will talk about it as well. Yeah, let's see what they have to offer in the save game. And here we are in the save game, a very snowy save game, I have to say so myself. But yeah, quickly talk about resources and unit caps before we focus on the buildings and then the units. Resources wise, they are super standard. They have requisition, they have power, they gain requisition power the normal way with listening posts, plasma generators, and their upgrades and add-ons and whatnot. What is a bit special is that they have the tier 1 Titan unlock building. This Armageddon nuclear reactor over here produces plus 30 requisition and plus 20 power. So do you have another income building very late in the game? It helps you because of course it gives you some income, but it is very frail for what it is, your tier 1 Titan unlock, and it will explode in an absolutely big explosion, dealing massively damage around. So you need to be careful where to place it, and yeah, will help your economy however. Unit cap wise, they are a bit special. They have they start with 10 squad cap and go up and with 4 vehicle cap, and the maximum amount depends on which doctrine they take. The armored fist doctrine, the infantry doctrine, you can get a maximum of 24 squad cap and 16 vehicle cap, and for the tank doctrine it is the other way around, only 16 infantry cap but 24 vehicle cap. If you choose a doctrine, you immediately get 1 squad cap for it, and then you have squad cap upgrades in your legionary barracks. For the infantry doctrine you have 3 here, because it goes with the next one, it goes to from 11 to 16 to 21 to 24. Whereas when you are on the tank doctrine, you only have 1 upgrade from going from 11 to 16 with 1. And then you have also the upgrades in your tank factory. The tank factory itself also provides you plus 2 vehicle pop, so you go to 6, and then you have, depending on the doctrine, in infantry doctrine you have 2 upgrades going from 6 to 11 to 16, and then it stops. Whereas if you go for the vehicle doctrine, you go from 6 to 11 to 16 to 21 to 24. So you have 4 vehicle cap upgrades instead of 2. So basically, if you go for infantry, you have 2 more infantry upgrades. If you go for vehicle, you have 2 more vehicle upgrades. And I find it cool that you have these different max caps depending on what you go. You need to select a doctrine before you can build either the legionary barracks or the tank factory, so you cannot just go with minimum caps or whatever, so only 16 or something. So yeah, that's why that is. So that's the caps out of the way. Now start about the buildings. And the buildings have one trait that some Imperial Guard factions have. This is the tunnel network. And the tunnel network only is from the fire control bunker, the HQ, and the listening post. That's it, no more. The fire control bunker will also not shoot out. The listening post will, however, they get an additional weapon. If you see this upgraded point over here has no weapon, but if you move in, you can then fire. So there's some last gun emplacements in these listening posts, which means that if you have a doubly upgraded listening post, you have quite a lot of guns to fire. So this is the overall thingy. Let's talk about the buildings themselves. You have the HQ over here, which I said has already the tunnel building. You have a bunch of commanders. You can upgrade it with heavy bolters and later even with autocannons on 3 sides you see here. So it can fire and help you. You see the arcs are a bit overlapping for some because the front ones can only attack in one direction and stuff like that. But yeah, there are some fiery bits on the HQ. The commanders will vary depending on your doctrine of choice. You get your Pioneers, which is your builder squad, your Legionaries, which is your first infantry squad, and if you go for the infantry doctrine and get some upgrades, you even can have a long-range scanner later down the line. The first unit production building you have is the Legionary Barracks, getting you basically all your different infantry plus the Cyclops, which is the self-destructing vehicle, also houses the squad cap increases, and most important, Lieutenant Colonel, which is another commander, and your I think it's the best commander you have access to, especially if you go into tier 2. We will talk about it later. Also available in tier 1 is the relay station. The relay station is the building which allows you to tech up, so it has researches from tier 2 to tier 3 to tier 4. So you will need a relay station. You can skip the barracks if you want and only go for a relay station, but if you go barracks you need to get a relay station at some point to get the tier upgrades. There's also a whole bunch of infantry upgrades, which I will talk more, I think, in the tech tree document later. Very important upgrades over here. Also 2 units, the Stormtroopers is available for both branches, and then the Orc Hunter is only in the infantry doctrine, but I will talk about units in more detail later on. Then you have in tier 2 available the Tank Factory, which is basically, as the name suggests, your vehicle production facility, everything that is not relic on tier 4. The only tier 4 unit you have access to here is the Lehman Ross Battle Tank, which is your bread and butter battle tank, Lehman Ross, and then you have some different weapon vehicle options I will talk later. In tier 4 you can get the Airstrip, which is kind of similar to the Mars Pattern Command, I think it's called, for Imperial Guard. It houses your tier 4 relic units and tier 1 and tier 2 Titan units as well. And what is the big kicker here is that it can deep strike Lehman Ross. I think it should go in here. Maybe sometimes it's a bit finicky to load them in, but there you go. You can load in Lehman Ross in the tank doctrine. You can also build Lehman Ross here, and it can also deep strike Bane Blade. So how awesome is that? You can deep strike a Bane Blade over here, and poof, there you go. So it can deep strike Bane Blades and Lehman Ross, which is absolutely amazing if you ask me. Resource wise, I said already, you have your generators, which are normal. You have your thermoplasma generator, which is normal. You have your listening posts that are normal in the sense that they provide requisition. They have some different weapons. The first upgrades give you this, I think, this multi-laser, and the second upgrade replaces that with a heavy bolter, twin-linked heavy bolter, and you already, as I said, have these last gun emplacements. Then you have really nice turrets. The turrets is nice in 2 ways. Your builders are nice because they are fast and build fast, because they are a squad, and they have quite a long attack range over here. HP wise they are on the lower end, but yeah, that's how they are balanced. They are very good at long range, but if anything comes close to them, they die really quickly. You can replace them with last cannons in tier 2. And then there's also special in a way that you have mines. These are not minefields, they're emplaced charges, basically singular mines. They will die with 1 explosion instead of 4 or 5. I think it's for a minefield before it is away. So these build faster, are cheaper, but yeah, you need to build multiple of them to be effective. Lastly, in tier 3 you have the Armageddon Pattern Saber Turret Emplacement, which is basically a flak emplacement. Is not an Earthshaker, so you see the range is shorter, but has higher shorter reload time, so it can shoot faster. And as it is a not so long range emplacement, you can build it anywhere. Does not need to be in the control area, which is all artillery placements normally can only be placed in the control area, or what is it called? What do you call it? Yeah, control area. So if you, because this is lower range, you can place it anywhere basically. But has the usual only 3 per HQ limit. Oh no, it has 3 per HQ instead of 1 per HQ. So this is interesting. I think this is unique, because the other kind of artillery or big cannon emplacement is only 1 per HQ. But I will check that. I think this should cover all the buildings, because I already have told you about the tier 1 Titan enabler over here. There's no tier 2 Titan enabler research or anything. That's why your tier 2 Titan is very expensive to make up for missing a tier 2 Titan research. Okay, so this is the units, and now the buildings. Now we talk about units, and there is a hell of a lot of units. I can just go over here, the infantry, the commanders, builders, and a lot of tanks we have to talk about. But yeah, we always start with the builders. You have over here the Pioneer Squad. The Pioneer Squad is cool as it is a squad, so it cannot die as easily. It can get flamers, which I rarely use, to be honest, but it is very quick on their feet, builds really quick. Can also repair, but on a very low rate, because the real repair unit we come later is the Trojan over here. You also see them infiltrated. That is a trait they get from a research in tier 3 from the infantry doctrine, which allows your pioneers, stormtroopers, and ore counters to infiltrate. And yeah, this is the builders, as I said, can build, repair very slowly. But in tier 2 you have the Trojan field and repair unit, I think it calls itself. It can repair on a high rate, it's relatively durable for what it does. Not the fastest, of course, as it has these threads. Has, however, smoke launchers, and what is cool about it, it can house the pioneers. Don't think it can house any other infantry over here. Oh, it can. Yeah, it can house different infantry. That I didn't know. Okay, I thought it can only house these pioneers, but yeah, you see it can used as a saving grace on the front lines for some infantry to escape, but it has not the highest HP and armor class, so yeah, rarely do I use this for getting units around. And then we have the different commanders over here. In the front, these are commanders that are available for all the doctrines, and the commanders in the back are only available for the infantry doctrine, because it focuses more on commanders and infantry. Yeah, your primary commander is your Lieutenant Colonel over here. Lieutenant Colonel, I'm sorry. In tier 1 it starts as a single entity unit over here with the guy in front. Also it does not have the plasma pistol and power fist. That's something he gets later on. He has a relay for the squad, for himself basically, and get melter bombs and can summon in a box officer, we will talk about later. You see also these Ogren bodyguards. These can be added to the squad starting from tier 2. In tier 2 you can get 2 bodyguards, and in tier 3 you can get up to 4. And these bodyguards make the squad very big in the HP numbers. The melter research for the melter bombs is in tier 3, is relatively late. One special thing about this command squad is that you can attach commanders to it, which is unique, because normally these command squads do not allow for this. This is a thing where you can have it, so you can get the box officer in it and fight in range, or you can get a commissar to the squad to be more effective in melee and stuff like that. So yeah, this doesn't work. Yeah, it's good. So there's some merit around it. So you can get even 2 commanders together in tier 1 without the bodyguards. Your other tier 1 commander over here is the commissar, available for both branches. It is your primary detecting unit in tier 1, your mobile detecting unit. It can attach to squads, makes the squad move faster instead of having a higher regeneration rate and morale, what normally the Imperial Guard version does. So they move faster. Not sure if they attack. Right, speed bonus when attached to squads, yeah. Unit effective and boosting squad morale. So boosting the morale and movement speed, and can execute fellow units around in his squad if he is attached to a squad to, yeah, make them morale immune, restore the morale, and give them an attack damage bonus for all units around. In tier 2 you have access to the box officer. I'm pretty sure it is tier 2. We will see in the tech tree. The box officer is a lady with a big old plasma gun over here and can detect. And what does it even do? Maintaining command of a...
Vox receiving, go ahead.
Accuracy and damage bonus to the squad he's attached to. So that's very nice, especially if you pair it with the Ogren bodyguard over here or a late tier infantry unit. So they can be very useful. And finally in tier 3 both branches have access to the Lord Commissar Sebastian Jarek. And he's quite a beast with the big old power claw over here. I think one of the only humans ever being able to carry a power claw over here. Can attach to squads is very high under HP. The HP values are a bit inflated because of the standard barrier over here. They are a little lower normally. And yeah, it can use his battle cry to make the units around him deal more damage. And can also use the personal field to less range damage taken. So there you go. Melee damage is not reduced, however. Here are the special commanders for the infantry doctrine, starting with the standard bearer, which is available as soon as you have an infantry barracks. The standard bearer increases the HP of units around it, I'm pretty sure, and morale around it. So he has a supportive role, he's the commander, so he can withstand a bit of punishment, has a last pistol, and can also go into melee. So he's a good commander unit on itself in tier 1. Let's quickly compare to the a little more health than the commissar even, but a little bit more expensive as well. So there you go. You can have him around, yeah, to buff your men, especially early on. Having HP bonuses on your units is very nice. In tier 2 you get access to the field medic. The field medic requires the first infantry HP research, which I find very fitting. Gives you medic bonuses in the sense that it provides healing or squad regeneration bonuses around him. Also can attach to squads. Your other named tier 2 commander, or your named commander in tier 2 is Uriah Jacobus. Has this shotgun and this little stick over here. Can use different abilities. One is rally, which rallies him, and then there's the frenzy, which makes he cannot die for the duration, and melee damage and charge range is increased. So he is then getting in frenzy. I think he can still get damage but cannot die. And lastly, he has a Molotov cocktail, which is very nice. Very big flame damage around. Requires the grenade research. Then there's no other tier 2 commander. There is, however, 2 tier 3 commanders. We start with one of my favorite models overall, which is the Crater Primaris Psycho Lord. Oh, this name, Rukadevata. She's looking like a princess from the Orient over here. She is enabled in tier 3, and if you have the Orc Hunters on the field, because she is their leader you can speak of, has really nice abilities, and I think also detects. I think, yeah. No, she's not a Primaris Marine. Games Workshop should pick their names better. Yeah, this is the official name of her. And he has 3 very nice abilities. He has Mental Shackles, which shackles an enemy squad. Then she has Steel Within, Steel Without. Gain temporary increased health. And it states that they feel safe. Maybe they get also some defensive bonuses. And lastly, you have the Akara, the Mass Smite, which is basically, as the name suggests, a big old smite in a big area over here. It doesn't look like much, but it is quite a lot of damage. And if you research the infiltration for your infantry, she can also teleport around. I think it's... Oh, that's larger than I thought. Very large teleport positions range. She also enables the special research we will talk about in later down the line. And lastly, you have the Canoness Errant Steno. She's enabled if you have good old Lord Commissar Sebastian Jarek on the field. Big old Canoness cannot attach to squads, but has a lot of passive and active abilities. The passive is Shield and the Sword. Not harm line infantry whilst she's near, preferring to shoot at her. So it sounds like the infantry is invincible, or that she taunts units around to shoot at her. And then you have the Aura of Extreme Threat. Her presence is damaging demons around it and can detect. So that's the passive around her. So you see that this sparkly bit is he gets reduced damage, and you see it only affects infantry. It is not affecting commanders, which is a good thing if you ask me. And then she has 2 more active abilities: rallies all nearby units, and that's similar to a demoralizing shout. Breaks an enemy squad and slows them. So very nice, especially for the passive bonuses and her general fighting capabilities. But model wise and utility wise, I like her. Also note that she has demon armor, which is intended. Okay, this is all your commanders. This was already quite a mouthful, and now we talk about the infantry. I sorted them here in tiers as I normally do. In tier 1 you have access to the legionaries, which is your bread and butter infantry squad you have around the whole game. If not for fighting, then for camping and just being a nuisance over here. They can get grenades, they can get a sergeant, which increases the morale and HP, I think. Or mainly the morale, it states here. I'm not sure if it also boosts HP as the Imperial Guard sergeants do. And you have an assortment of different weapons. You have grenade launchers in tier 1, which are very good, relatively cheap as well. In tier 2 you can get missile launchers, battle rifle, las gun, and plasma rifles. These need a research, the expanded infantry weapon cage. The expanded infantry weapon cage you can think of as a mandatory tier 2 upgrade, similar to, let's say, Eldar Targeters, or even more so the Tau Empire Pulse rifle upgrade thingy. That is a tier 2 upgrade you absolutely want to have, because it enables a whole bunch of different options on your infantry, but also on some vehicles. And the last thing here, the battle rifle las gun is only available for the infantry doctrine, not for the vehicle doctrine. Then we have the Wrath Riders over here, which used to be the most broken unit you can field in tier 1, but they have fixed in many ways. They are still very durable if you look at the HP pool over here, but their damage has been reduced quite significantly, especially in range. They basically do almost no damage in range. They are doing good damage in melee against light infantry. They struggle a bit against heavy infantry. So they are mostly holding the line for your infantry, range infantry, to shoot or to tie down enemy range squads, or to harass enemy light emplacements. If there's a turret, an upgraded listening post, they already begin to struggle, because there's just horses. You get a bit of utility in the sense that they can get frag grenades, which is very nice. Their Wrath Rider Sergeant also gets good weapons, so this is the one unit that can actually fire in range pretty well. The rest does not. And even in tier 3 they can get melter bombs. So if you happen to have some Rough Riders around in tier 3, they can be very useful for harassment. And generally are, as I said, more holding the line for your different infantry to fire. Then we have tier 2. The only infantry in tier 2 you get from both branches is the Stormtroopers. They do not start infiltrated, they get infiltrated by the same research as your Pioneers get infiltrated. They can be deep strike and deal a hell of a lot of infantry damage with their hell guns, or your hotshot las guns, whatever you want to call it. They can get grenades and melter bombs, but mind you, melter bombs are tier 3. And they can get different weapons. They can get grenade launchers and flame muzzle right away. They can get plasma rifles if you are the infantry doctrine, and they can get melter rifles in tier 3 with the same research that allows them to get the melter bombs. And most importantly, they can be deep striked from the relay station, so they can be on the field whenever and wherever you like. A limit of 2, however. The other available for both paths are the heavy weapon teams. You have the heavy bolter team, which is immediately available as soon as you're tier 2. And if you have the expanded infantry weapon cage, you get these mortar squad over here, and also the las cannon support squad for anti-infantry and anti-vehicle purposes. They can be attached to squads, which they can also be attached to stormtroopers and then be deep striked on the field, which is really nice. Other than that, they are useful in the sense that they are single entities, so you can mix and match them as you like. The production time is relatively high, so if you want to spam these platoons, as you can do, you might want to have a second barracks on the field if you plan to do something. But if you have, let's say, all the infantry on the field, if you go, for example, tank doctrine, these are very good units to supplement your relatively small infantry line, whereas you're building up more and more tanks. Your tier 2 infantry you can get from the infantry doctrine. Basically all the other infantry you see here is only available for the infantry doctrine. The tank doctrine only has these tier 1 infantry, the stormtroopers, and these heavy weapon squads. All the other infantry you see here is infantry doctrine only. Infantry doctrine only is the veteran legionaries. They are summoned by the Chimera, by costing quite a lot of requisition actually, but can be summoned basically on the field. They do not know what is this aura around it. Is this from him? Not sure what this aura is all about, but they can get different weapons than the standard legionaries. Have a bit more health, as you can see here. Have a sergeant and can get melter bombs later on. You can get grenade launchers, plasma rifles, flamers, and in tier 4 that is, however, the Volkite calibers, doing all sorts of shenanigans. Very cool unit, I have to say, and most importantly, you can summon them on the field if you really need to. Very versatile in the sense because of that. Then in tier 2 you have access to the Silver Gem Dog Squad, which are very special in many ways. They start off with their little chem cannons over here and are drug addicts, so if their morale is broken they will not follow your orders anymore. This guy has a funny head. Okay, the whole thing about them is that they are criminals basically, given a lot of drugs, and they're like, yeah, they're scavenging all things around. You can see it on their models that they have different helmets from different infantry guards doctrines, even like here the Vostorian Firstborn, the Praetorian Guard, Death Corps of Greek, stuff like that. You get a commissar to get them back in shape with the execute, so he executes one member so they get fighting better. Their chem cannons they have here, they use the chemicals they use to basically get them for themselves. They also can use for the enemy, which I think, what does it there? While on its own, gas doesn't do damage, the affected units will be immobilized and become unresponsible. So basically stun units, which is very nice. So they are more of a utility unit. And as they are scavengers, in a sense, they can get an assortment of different scavenge weapons, starting with, I think, the Elder Las Blaster over here, that they can immediately. But then going through the tiers in tier, I think the Grey Scepter Grenade Launcher or 1 is enabled by the expanded Infinite Weapon Cage, and there are different upgrades. We'll see it in the Techtrees later on tier 3 and tier 4 and so on, with different upgrades on it. You can get a Grey Spectre Grenade Launcher, you can get a Adeptus Orator's Melter Gun, a Martini Las Gun, a Tau Iron Rifle, and the Quasar Pattern Las Cannon over here. So you might notice it from a different game, but yeah, really cool, the model that it made it in here. That is good. Basically a big old Las Cannon, as it states, with cool looks to it. In tier 3 you get access to 3 more infantry squads. The first squad I want to show here is the Bulgrins, and the Bulgrins, yeah, they are melee only Ogrins, high health pool, very fast for them, I think. Yeah, good mobility, and their sticks over here, they have also this possibility to stun enemy units, and their Bulgrin Bone Ad over here also gets some grenade gauntlet over here. Okay, it doesn't. Okay, there you go. He has a little gauntlet which has the ability to shoot a grenade, which I find very cool. Then you have access to the little Ratlings over here. These are.
Get us some taters. We'll make you something better.
They are Australian, I think, from their voiceover over here. They are basically abhumans. If the Ogrins are abhumans that are large, these are small. These are always infiltrated and sniper units. And they have a little thing that they are scared of felinids, basically of cats, so that's a funny little interaction. But yeah, overall very good snipers. The attack range is pretty high for what they are, and yeah, pretty cheap. Also, if you get them around, they are very helpful. Yeah, keep them out of combat. Here you see the health pool is very slow. And last but certainly not least, we have the Orc Hunter Fire Sweep team over here, which is basically, I think of it in tier 3 version of a Stormtrooper. The Orc Hunters you see here, they have all these Indian flair to them. They have also orky weapons. They start off with these, not really sure what weapons they really are. You tell me. It looks like las guns to me, hell guns to me, special hell guns, but you can tell me in the comments. They can get a sergeant, of course, which can rally the squad. They have different assortments. They have this deploy orc trap, which is basically a mine over here. I think I need to edit on the tech tree actually, because I haven't did it. So this is basically a mine, basically a snare trap in a sense. Orc trap is a snare trap. Very nice. Costs some power, however. Then you have gas grenades, which is as mean as it sounds. There you go. Similar to the Death Cove Creek gas grenades. And I really like the different weapons. They have burners, they have rocket launchers, and they have big shooters. The big shooter is limited to 1 because it causes minor suppression. So you do not want to have stacking suppression. So that's why there's only 1 big shooter. I always like to give them rocket launchers because in tier 3 you're most likely facing big vehicles from the opponent. And yeah, but if you want double down on anti-infantry or anti-morale, you can also do that with them. Can also deep strike from your relay station, and they enable your Primaris Psycho unit over here. Oof. So this is all the different infantry, but we're only getting started. We're now talking about the vehicles. We will talk about these vehicles first and then go on to the higher vehicles over here. But the first vehicle I want to talk about is a special vehicle, which is something you don't see on any other faction. It's the Salamander Scout Tank. The Salamander Scout Tank is only available for the infantry pass because it's a command tank over here. Has the ability to have reconnaissance, so they overall detect units around him. You can activate the reconnaissance, which makes him immobile but increases the sight range by quite a bit. It's a toggle, you also can toggle on and off as you like. It has a little strike over here, which is enabled in tier 3, I think. The unit itself is tier 2. There you go, boom. And then it has one special property, which is the loading mechanic. You can load certain commanders in it. You can load in a Commissar, Sebastian Jarek, and the Dry Jacobus, and if they will be able to go inside. Sometimes it's a bit finicky with these vehicles. Then they will also stand here and provide some additional attacks with their weapons of choice. So they are. It used to be that the Lieutenant Colonel can also come in, and it still can, but give me a second, just showing you that these are also different models for it. Sometimes it's a bit finicky, as I told you, with these vehicles, and then you have here the command tank also having the little flag over here. So they use their sidearms and no ability. It's the big kicker, but it can help you to save some commanders. You can also add in the Lieutenant Colonel, but it will only be the model himself and not the Oaken Bodyguards. So there you go. And this is the only commanders you can load in as far as I'm aware of. Yeah. So these 4 commanders can load in here and use the Salamander Scouting as a driving vehicle. In general, I would say this is not a mechanic you should use generally, just putting in there, because they have all various abilities and units they have not available to them if they aren't a command tank. The Scout Tank does detect itself, so there's no desperate need to have a Commissar inside for added detection. So it is more of I find it good to have it on the back side, because it also suppresses with this heavy stopper over here, and then load in commanders that allow health to save them and ferry them out and let them regenerate. So this is what I think the Scout Tank is used best, at least the loading mechanic. Okay, so having this special thingy out of the way, we now can talk about the quote-unquote more standard units. You have the Cyclops over here, which is has no attacks by itself, but can detonate on demand. I think, not sure if it detonates if it dies, but it surely detonates if you click on it. Is pretty cheap, just checking the cost. It's only 25 and 50, so it is some power, so you want to get really close to some blobs to make it worth it. Okay, the vehicles in tier 2 over here. Going from the center to the outsides, because the center is always that both paths have access to, but we start also with the Chimera. The Armageddon Pattern Chimera is the same for both branches, but had different weapon options. For the infantry doctrine, it can get a twin-linked heavy bolter, requiring the infantry heavy weapon cage thingy, and it can deploy these veterans on the field, as I said, for 270 requisition, which is quite a lot actually, but yeah, they are immediately summoned on the field, so that's why it is expensive. No building time, no walking time to the front and stuff like that. Has some smoke launchers, and for the tank company it can get an autocannon, and in tier 3 even a hunter killer missiles on it, but cannot summon the soldier squad and cannot get the heavy bolter turret. So that's the difference. The weapons here, the autocannon and the Hunter Killer Missile, also require the expanded infantry weapon cage, so you cannot get it without getting the upgrades, the upgrade in the relay station first. The other two vehicles in tier 2 that are for both branches is the Riser patterned Hellhound. The Hellhound here is more or less similar to the IG. It was reported that the Inferno Cannon does a little better than the IG one, which will be fixed in the next update. It can be upgraded with the Bane Wolf and Devil Dog in tier 2. The upgrades for Imperial Guard will not stay in tier 2 for them, but it is needed for a Steel Legion to have a Devil Dog in tier 2, because this is your only anti-vehicle in tier 2, if you do not count the Armageddon, the autocannon over here, which is only available for the tank doctrine. So for your infantry doctrine, the Devil Dog is your go-to anti-vehicle vehicle. Can also get the Let It Burn ability in tier 3. And lastly, we have over here the Thunderer, which is also the unit both branches can get, which is a, as a Thunderer you normally see, not the longest range but artillery. Good against infantry, basically buildings, basically big boom, short range, but has these siege shells, which can be used to a enemy structure that is dealing quite a bit damage to it. So it has a siege shell, it's called. Can target round as most artillery do. And then you have in tier 2 a unit that's only available for the tank doctrine over, which is the Sentinel. The Sentinel is a special in the sense that it can detect. It's relatively cheap. Not the fastest Sentinel on the field, however, so you see the movement speed isn't the greatest if you compare it to an Imperial Guard Sentinel, but it has different merits to it. It has a bit more HP. Can get a flame and autocannon right away, and a tier 3 a last cannon and a plasma cannon as well. So you have some versatility in it. Very nice autocannon and very nice conjunction with the autocannon of the Armageddon pattern Chimera as well. So you have two autocannon things you can field in tier 2. Okay, this is tier 2. Let's talk about tier 3, where these units are all for the different path except for the destroyer. The destroyer is for both paths over here, which is a laser destroyer, as you know it from different factions over here. Long range anti-vehicle option over here, does not do any damage really against infantry, so there you have that. And then you have also the Thunderbolt, which is available for both branches, which is a flyer unit. Relatively late available in the tier 3, but has this can we see it? Yeah, it also has these grenades for anti-infantry. It's good against aircraft with this, I think, less cannons it has. Yeah, and can also use the disperse chaff countermeasures, basically making it invulnerable for a short amount of time, which is nice. Very good for dogfights and such. And yeah, now the special units for your infantry doctrine. We have here the Luthier's Alpha Pattern Chimedon, which is, as the name says, Chimedon, basically a chimera with a big cannon at the top. I think it's, and can also unload stuff. And you see here it has some infiltration devices. It starts off with only being infiltrated when it stands still, similar to the Shadow Spectres from Eldar here, but with the nuclear reactor over here. If this is fielded, it gets more power, so to speak, and then it is permanently infiltrated. So very nice infiltrated unit to hop in and hop out. Very good damage on it as well. Then we have two artillery options over here. We have the Wyvern, which doesn't have the longest range over here, but does a good spread of things. So very good against infantry blobs and such, not dealing a whole lot of damage against vehicles, however. And then we have the Basilisk, and we all know and love the Basilisk. And the Basilisk for the Steel Legion has very high attack range. I think it's a bit higher than the standard Basilisk over here, so very high range on it. It can upgrade to a Medusa cannon, so this will take some time and resources, but replace this big Earthshaker cannon over here with a Medusa cannon. Can use smoke shells, which is is the smoke shells that can make infantry infiltrated in it, which is nice. The version which has the what is it called again? One of the infantry. It's not a Medusa, it's not the Basilisk, it is, I forgot what it's called. There's one thing that can also use this in the Imperial Guard. And then you have the Earthshaker rounds in tier 4, I think, which is the big rounds. It costs you some resources but makes a big boom on it. Limited to 3, these Basilisk. Boom, there you go. Yeah, now jumping over again to the tank doctrine, you have available in tier 3 the Hydra, which is very long range. You see it here. Anti-aircraft normally meant to be, right? Yeah, but can also use very good against infantry and lighter vehicles. And then we have the Manticore over here. Not the highest range for an artillery piece, but has yeah, big booms on them. If you see it over here, very low refire rate, but very high boom, and has a special ability. Normally not these nuclear warheads. It has the acid warheads, but if you have enabled, I think it's the Eagle Regiment thingy, you can enable these nuclear warheads for a short amount of time, which should, if we attack over here, make a big boom over here. There you go. And with the acid thingies, it will bring you the acid AoE ability to it. So this is your vehicles up to tier 3, with one exception over here. We have for the tank token the Vanquisher Tank Ace, which is basically a tank commander. Does not start with these side sponsors, start with the Vanquisher cannon and the heavy bolters. Has ability like all Leman Russ, is a frag defender for close quarter defense, doing some damage around it. Very long range, almost artillery range to it. Can use with the upgrade. It has an upgrade in tier 4 which enables the side sponsors and these anti-armor shells, which is a target ability to enemy buildings and vehicles, I think. Vehicles for the most part, and can also rally units around. And also has an aura which increases the fighting capabilities of friendly vehicles around it. And it has also a trait that all Leman Russ variants have, is that the Commissar can load in. You see here, we'll jump on the little thing on the top, which now enables this unit to detect, as well as having another guy with a with a little gun on top of it. This is true for all the different chimeras we have here. All the different Leman Russ. You also see that there's a very high versatility of Leman Russ, and it is different to, let's say, Imperial Guard, where you can upgrade your standard Leman Russ in different variants. These are separately built. The only Leman Russ both variants have access to is the standard one with the, I think it's called Battle Cannon at the top, and all the other ones are only available for the tank doctrine. There are, of course, the standard one, then you have the Conqueror, then you have the Exterminator with the dual autocannon, you have the Demolisher with the Demolisher cannon, and the Executioner with the plasma gun. And they all, you can see, have this frag defender, and they can all load in the Commissar. And yeah, there's a limit of 4, which is quite huge for the tank doctrine. Like, each individual is limited to 2, and in total you can get up to 4, plus the Vanquisher Tank Ace. And there's one last variant which I couldn't show because, yeah, it exceeds the limit, which is a very special one, where we do have it over here, which I heard also has a pretty nice voiceover. In comes the Leman Russ Incinerator, needs a relic, and yeah, has a limit of 2 as well.
That's cool? Nein, but I have a few cousins there. Easy, mein Bruder. She's the sensitive mistress, our incinerator.
Easy, mein Bruder. That's me. And yeah, I can also load in. A Commissar has the tank shells, and yeah, as an incinerator, it has quite a long range and damage to high armored targets. So this is your Leman Russ variants. Now let's jump over to the relic units, which is, as you see, all different Baneblade variants. The first one for the infantry doctrine is the Storm Sword. Yeah, big cannon on the top, a lot of cannons on the side, like heavy bolters. Not sure what this is actually. This is last cannons or not. Yeah, also have smoke shells. For the tank doctrine, your relic thingy is your Stormblade, which is a big old plasma cannon, let's call it that, at the front, less cannons at the side, heavy bolters and stuff like that. Can also, yeah, okay, there you go. And yeah, the thing here in the middle, the Riser Pattern Baneblade, is a super heavy. Both branches have access to, requiring a relic, a critical location, but is not part of the relic unit. Cap has, yeah, you see it yourself, How much weapons is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we count these ones, 8 different weapons on it. Can exchange this weapon on the top to a big old Inferno cannon as well, making it kind of to the fire sword the Sisters of Battle have access to. Your tier 1 Titan is also band blade variant, if you want to call it like that. It's the Iron Saint, also a big cannon on the top. Is it a Quake cannon? I'm not really known about the cannons, but this looks for me like a Quake cannon, but might be totally wrong. There's also a lot of sponsors at the side. Yeah, see here with the flamers. And your tier 2 Titan is this Ordinatus Armageddon, which is really slow, high, very low refire rate, but yeah, you see the range is really big. The HP isn't the greatest, but yeah, it is a support vehicle. You see it's relatively slow, chunky to use, has a setup time, high reload time, but big booms on it. Yeah, last resort thingy. And you notice that there's one more Baneblade, and this is the Fortress of Arrogance. This is a special research for the tank doctrine, which puts your Commander Jarek in a Baneblade over here, so he stands on top of it, has also these cool ornaments all around it, has still the abilities of it, meaning like the big shield, reducing range damage, and also the battle cry, increasing damage of units around. And other than that, it's really nicely black Baneblade variant with Jarek sitting on top. Really liking this one over here. So you see you have a lot of different Baneblades, and all these 4 can be deep strike in. I'm not sure, can the Fortress of Arrogance also load? It can also load in the airstrip to be deep striked. Ordinatus, for obvious reasons, cannot be deep striked. Would be even funnier, but yeah. So this is all the different units. You notice that there is a lot of me talking about only available here, only available there. Let us see it closer in the Techtrees, where I will talk you through about the different variants, or you can see the different variants of the units being in this branch or on this branch, the different researches I want to talk you through, and lastly I want to tell you about the different tier strengths. So yeah, see you in a second. And I have a little surprise, which I almost forgot about. It is a little sneak peek to a survival exclusive unit for them in the next update coming January, February this year, which is a special Wrath Rider. It's the Orc Hunter La Capalla Lancer over here, which is your first survival reinforcement unit, which is basically a Wrath Rider but looking way better, if you ask me, having a cooler design on the horses and of course the units riding them. But yeah, functionally it's more or less the same as the Wrath Rider, but yeah, I really like the design of them. So yeah, a little sneak peek for the next version. Look at their different variants on their faces, I really like. And yeah, so having a short little sneak peek for the next version, so stay tuned for that. I have not updated them in the Techtrees, of course, because that I will do one update hit. So yeah, look at them for a while. And yeah, now we can jump into the Techtrees as said before. And here we are in the Techtree document. I have marked everything that is exclusive to the Infantry Doctrine in red, and everything that is exclusive to the Tank Doctrine in blue. You can see here that already there's a lot of stuff being only exclusive to the red shenanigans here in terms of commanders and stuff. But the lower we go to the tech tree, the more stuff is actually only available for the Tank Doctrine. So yeah, quickly go through the upgrades first, because I didn't tell you in the save game. You have the tier upgrades, as you can see here, in the relay station, and then you have the different upgrades. Like the grenades are really very cheap, so we always want to get the grenades because there are a lot of units that can get grenades, and B, they are really cheap. Then you have the commander weapons, which is not as big as upgrade as different factions, so it's not getting a plasma pistol first, it's getting actually a bolt pistol or upgraded bolt pistol and stuff like that. Then here in tier 2, this is the weapon cage, expanded infantry weapon cage, which is your absolutely mandatory upgrade in tier 2. You have your infantry health, infantry range damage increase, and if you are infantry doctrine, you can then, if you get your primary psych out, also this radar thingy upgrade relatively late in tier 3, which increases the damage and range of your orc hunters and stormtroopers and gives you access to the radar thingy magics on your HQ. And also one thing more which I forgot, you can get in tier 3 the melter upgrades and your second commander upgrade, which then gives most of your commanders plasma pistols, and the 2 special upgrades for infantry as well, getting infantry infiltration and even more infantry HP to make them more durable. You also have 2 special tank upgrades, which is here the armored skirts, which I just see that it can be moved over here to look a little better. Minor things every now and then. And in tier 4 you have your tank ace upgrade. So your tank ace doesn't start as a big powerhouse right away. You can get it upgraded in tier 4 to get more suitable to be a Lehman Russ unit. Your different defensive options, I do not want to really talk about too much. Your little flag cannon over here. Let's talk about tier strength. So depending on what you choose to open, the Sea Legion is very good in tier 1 because it has the commissars, the commander over here, both very durable and very good for what they are. You have the legionaries with grenade launchers, which is always nice. And if you want to get a horse or 2, it can also be very good in tier 1. In tier 2, they're also pretty nice in the sense that they have fast vehicle options. In the sense, I mean, yes, you need the tank building and stuff, but the vehicles you can field are all around pretty strong. It is the Hellhound, of course, the Sentinel if you go armored company, and of course your Chimeras, which is always nice. Also the missile launchers available on the Legionaries are a very good anti-vehicle capability, and you also have these guys here, the support guys over here, as well as the Champ Dogs and stuff. Tier 3 depends on the branch you get. If you go for infantry, the Armored Fist, I think it's called, tier 3 is absolutely your strongest tier. You have the Orc Hunters, you have these Ogrins, the little Ratlings, you have, of course, some vehicles, you have your Orc Hunter Commander, you have the special upgrade here, you have infantry upgrades in tier 3. So tier 3 is where the infantry branch is the strongest. Whereas tier 3 for your vehicle branch, it is basically, okay, I'm tier 3, I get 1 or 2 vehicles, and then I want to immediately go to tier 4, because tier 4, as you can see here, is the big ass availability for your tank doctrines. You can get up to 4 Lehman Russ, you can get upgraded tank ace, you can get various amounts of Baneblade variants depending on your tech progression and resources and stuff. So yeah, a lot of big vehicles and stuff available to field in tier 4. So yeah, you can make a good game in tier 2 and tier 1, but the highest spike in a sense is tier 3 for infantry and tier 4 for vehicles. In one-on-one PvP, you can play both branches. You get more options earlier with infantry branch. That's why a lot of people go for infantry branch. But the Sentinel alone in tier 2 is very nice in the sense that it's relatively cheap. Can decap, has autocannons and stuff like that. And also you can get the Chimeras with autocannons. So you can get a whole bunch of autocannons out in tier 2. And yeah, get a lot of vehicle cap as well. So you can get a prolonged tier 2 game. But then again, if you are getting tier 3 with the tank commanders, also a little spike. Not as game ending always as if you get like all the different abilities from the infantry branch, but also very good. Yeah, there you go. That's your tier strength for you. You also notice the one last thing, it is relatively complicated to get a Psyker out, because to get a Psyker out you need to get Orc Hunters, or let's see, it's really hard to get this upgrade over here, this Starlink protocol, what it's called. You need the Orc Hunters, the Primaris, you get the Primaris, you get the upgrade. So there's a little linear progression you need to get through. Okay, about the units themselves, there's not much, I think, that is what I haven't told you already before. So that's why I don't want to go into much detail here, to be honest. Yeah, you see in the Camaro the different options in the Camaro, what is available for what branch. Yeah, a lot of Lehman Russ variants over here with their abilities and stuff. And yeah, you also notice that I haven't changed the survival unit here to the new survival unit, because this I will do once the update is out. Okay, with this done, we now jump into the build orders. And here we are in the build order document. Quick explanation as usual. Everything left or up this line over here is built immediately from your starting money, so to speak of, and everything else is to be added on your way to tier 2. I have a quote-unquote standard build order, which is a build order where you get whatever doctrine you like to soldiers, and of course always your pioneers, which I totally forgot in the thingy-majigs. Your pioneers can cap, of course. So this is a very special thing for pioneers. They are not only be very versatile in the many sense, but they can also cap on a reduced speed. However, so this is why you always want to get a maximum of 3 pioneers. And also a turret. Defensively, offensively, a turret is very nice to keep you stable in the early games. Get your radar towers later to get your grenade upgrades immediately. They're only costing you 25 requisition and 25 power. So always want to get them. 1 commissar to accompany your units, and yeah, another generator, and then getting tier 2. The next build order is one that many people have used and fielded and yeah, loved, which is the grenade launchers. You basically go for 3 soldiers and 2 pioneers. You do not need to decide on the doctrine yet. Then you get 1 generator. Get a generator before the radar tower, because you will not get the grenade launchers immediately, because you want to get some points first. Do not only use your pioneers to capture, because this will set back your economy so much. Basically, your first 2 units can capture a point, the 3rd one can immediately move to the opponents, and then once they are finished, they can follow your 3rd guy around, so they move more or less as a cohesive blob with a lot of grenade launchers. If you are on a lot of infantry, it is advised, of course, also getting the grenade research, but also getting the sergeant to make your units even more durable. And yeah, getting also the sergeant weapon can help here. Then you want to get 2 more generators before you get to tier 2. Then you can get Wrath Riders, which is a little difficult to pull off against all the factions, because they are very weak against commanders and sturdier infantry. So it's matchup dependent. You can go either doctrine for them. Get 1 soldier squad. Always get 1 soldier squad, or your capping game will be so late, because your pioneers are very nice and can capture and stuff, but they capture it on a very low rate. So you normally go for the soldier here to cap 2 of your base points, where the other 2 base points are captured by your pioneers, and the soldier is then used to capture the relic, because if you use pioneers to capture relics, it takes ages. Then yeah, you can immediately get 2 Wrath Riders if you skip the generator, which is advised, and later on you want to get a sergeant on them, because the sergeant is so good. Just noticing a little mistake over here, which will be amended. And yeah, once you have the radar tower, you always want to get grenade upgrades, because your guys can get grenades, and having melee squads with grenades is always nice to have. Another generator, and then heading into tier 2. Then you have the turret rush. The turret rush is best used on certain maps where you can get a very big advantage off of it. Namely, this is, for example, Tranquility's End or Moonbase. This is the 2 things that come to my mind. You want to get 2 soldiers, get a infantry bunker over here to get the availability to get a turret. So your first pioneer will get this, build this. The second pioneer you build right away will move to wherever you want to have the turret. So once this finishes, he can immediately start to build a turret. And yeah, you also want to have a generator. Only 2 infantry units here, because I think in this build order it is good to get a commissar to supplement your infantry squad. And later on you get some radar tower with upgrades, and also get a second commissar and units inside, so you can double down on your on your advantage if possible. But you can also skip this kind of thing, skip a generator, and get a faster tier 2 if you want to play it that way. Then there's the Tier Rush. The Tier Rush used to be a very good options, as you could build your stormtroopers without an infantry barracks. You cannot do anymore, so the Tier 2 Rush isn't as good anymore. It is, of course, still very dangerous, but you also notice here that I also recommend to get a soldier, because the capping game will be too slow otherwise. And yeah, what I use, at least against the AI, or if an opponent isn't challenged you can use this to get a really quick Tier 2 and get a Hellhound, or if you choose the tank doctrine, get one Sentinel and then the Chimeras. So you have a decapping unit and then the Chimeras do the fighting and stuff like that. So there's merit to get quick vehicles out. And lastly, this is an build order that is more on the gimmicky side, more on the fun side to play. Is getting basically similar loadout, but only getting one soldier and getting a lot of different commanders. What enables this build order kind of is this standard bearer over here, which increases the HP of your commanders as well. So this can be very good, actually, especially with the commander upgrades over here in Tier 1. And latest in Tier 2, you should transition out of it. I tried to play it like all the way to Tier 3 with only commanders, which is surprisingly didn't work out very well. But yeah, having a commander heavy open on Tier 1 can actually work. So this is a little gimmicky, but it can work. So this brings to the end of our guide, which always ends with a little replay. I have a replay I've played. I wanted to go take a different replay, but it is from the Invitation 3, and it is a replay of a match that I haven't released yet, so I didn't want to spoil. But I have another good replay. This is me against Yaoshin in the group stage on Shrine of Exelion, Steel Legion versus Necrons. So yeah, see you in the replay. And here on the replay on Shrine of Exelion, where I am playing Steel Legion, as I said, against Yaoshin over here with his Necrons. And you see that I go for a version of the grenade launcher opener, getting the power generator plant first and then the relay station second, getting 3 legionaries and then the pioneer squads. Yeah, there you go. And if I wouldn't play Necrons, I would use the 2 first guys to capture these points closer to my base, but as I'm playing Necrons, I'm opting to go for these outer points here to get immediately some pressure on the Necrons. You will maybe remember this game if you have seen the cast, so you will there will be some mistakes made that I will point out over here. But in general, it can be used to be very aggressive. I also will use the pioneers to get to the front as well, which you can do, but you do not need to. Actually, I used the 3rd legionary to capture some points because I want to get the legionaries at the pioneers at the front to get the listening post built up really fast. You see immediately getting the grenade research, not sure. Yeah, now I'm also starting to get grenade launchers over here, which are very potent against infantry, killing actually this builder scarab right away, which is really nice. And yeah, having this point almost captured as well. Yeah, captured. And these guys will now also start to capture around their base. Yeah, for now I'm just getting the squads with the grenade launchers. The guy in the back will not get the grenade launchers because they do not need to, and I want to have the resources to get the listening posts up. Yeah, getting a little too close to these Necron warriors over here, but they are really slow. And you see the grenade launcher is doing a hell of a lot of work. Having this listening post now already up as well. And this getting built up immediately. This point is now finished, so I get a little cocky going inside. And I think what I do, is it already now? Or later on want to get a turret over here, but I think I put it a little too close. And now I have the Necron pinned in his base. Yeah, the turret is a little too close. It should be over here, or over here actually, to cover the retreat. And one thing I do totally not do well is building up the listening post. I would need to build a listening post up here quickly and then build up all the stuff over here. But I'm kind of busy microing and stuff, not sure. Yeah, you see me floating resources without getting the thing over here. Could get and should get the sergeant now that I have these resources as well. Trying to get the point over here, which is not very advised over here. But yeah, the turret is now up, and you see now I see the enemy turret and would need to immediately focus down the builder scribe to not allow this turret up, because the turret for Necrons is pretty mean. finally building some points up, getting now also the senior officers' weapons and getting the sergeants. A little late on that. And in comes the Necron Lord, making my hopes and dreams over here a little, not as good. Using also the turret against the turret is nicely done by Yaoshen. And I need to juggle around here to get to my point. Having the pioneers inside gives me some less guns, as you can see here. Upgrading the side points and now also having some increased better weapons on the sergeants over here. But yeah, the big kicker here is that he has a turret over here. And yeah, you see the biggest mistake I still make or still have going for me is that my side of the map is not captured quite a lot. There's always a point where you want to let the aggression go and capture your own path, half of the map. And you only get really a benefit if you actually get your own half of the map as well. So here you see me floating like a hell of a lot of resources. I would have need to build this and also need to get a generator and stuff. Getting now a pioneer squad for another generator. My turret over here is dying, juggling around the Necron Lord on this side. This side is kinda hold for now, and I would need to use the pioneers. Okay, they capture this, that's nice. Inside here they're firing at the Necron Lord, but Necron Lord is very tanky lad. So there you go. The pioneers going now for this point actually. So yeah, always keep your pioneers busy, either keeping them in listening posts and firing, building up points and stuff. And yeah, I'm late on the economy game a bit, but yeah, I have the enemy points. This one will get down, which is okay-ish because it probably already has paid for itself, because yeah, it fired in and out, gave me some possibilities to move out, and also delayed him for quite a bit. Trying to, yeah, always try to capture, even if it looks like it's not a good idea. The opponent is not always on the move, but yeah, if you see it, you need to move away as soon as you can. Do I do it? Yes, yes, I do. And tier 2 is now started. Tier 2 could have been started like half a minute if I would have gotten my economy up in time. But yeah, now it comes the dreaded Necron Warrior push, which I want to delay because I'm on the tier 2 progression over here. And also building up my side over here. So there's two ways to go, but Necrons either get your units all together and defend, or get a counter attack going so you can pull them back. Not sure which I do here. You see here that I'm doing the thing where I have them in as long as I can, and then I'm switching it over so they do not get out and die over here, but getting as much damage done as possible. It's sometimes, even if you do not kill a model, it's the damage does. The turret is a bit too far out here. I think I wanted to build it so I can help defend this point over here, which is not really good, but yeah, I'm getting tier 2 even slightly closer, and yeah, the turret will not finish. My pioneers will die, so I need to delete it. Yes, I delete it so I get my money back. And now I have my legionaries over here. I have 2 squads of legionaries over here getting grenade launchers, so you can see the range is pretty high. So I will be able to do stuff, and even getting the fortified bunker, which is quite good. Tier 2 is almost finished. My resources do not line up completely for what I need to go. What do I go for? The tank factory. I think tier 2 is done, and money for the tank factory is now available, so I get it over here. Even getting some pioneer squad over here, which is kind of funny. Yeah, but having lost quite a lot of map control. But in comes the bunker here with some heavy bolters, which is very nice additional damage. Even now the Necron Lord coming over here. And yeah, my tank factory is almost there. Getting now this point upgraded because I have the resource. Maybe should have done it a little earlier. But yeah, the tank bunker is firing. The listening post is firing from inside. Because I think there are some pioneers inside. There's even now some flayed ones, but there's my thingy over here. I think I got him in here and put him over here so I can get him. Do I get him out or not is the question. Over here the flayed ones getting attacked. Necron Lord is here as well. These legionaries running around. These guys not getting out is probably a mistake. They should get out and use their grenade launchers. This point is now upgraded. Here are some legionaries actually, okay? Here are only pioneers. I could go in for the repair. This squad is absolutely getting evaporated because I do not have any tier 2 upgrades for them. And yeah, I finished the generator over here and start the decap. So always try to get your points back. My hellhound, my one hellhound is out over here and getting path blocked, and the tank factory is very low. it cannot shoot because of the solar beam. So this is quite a game over here. The solar beam will end, and there's like this one guy with his sergeant and the grenade launcher firing in, but the listening posts are also firing in. Pioneers going in here as well, but as you can see here, good Kimedon upgrade to fight all this different infantry over here, which is very important. The Pioneers did die in the end. My economy is still kinda okayish as I have upgraded listening posts, but yeah, not much map control. But now the Kimedon does hell of a lot of work against the infantry over here. This listening post will fire. The Necronaut uses the phase shift to stay alive. I get a point actually in the middle over here. And now getting another tank factory on the way. What I do need is some power, however. So I need to get a generator at some point. This guy now with 2 grenade launchers over here doing their job will they be able to kill this listening post? No, then lose morale, so their damage will not suffice over here. Teleporting out is Yao Shen completely. And yeah, what I did do, however, is getting this point up again and getting this point captured as well as rebuilding my tank factory. So even if you're pressured, try to keep your cool, try to act like you will hold this, and then what will you follow up with? It's not useful to focus completely on defending, and then once you're done defending, you're floating like 600 requisition, be like, oh crap. You need to always act like you would defend this relatively easily, or would defend it, and then want to follow up with something. So in the follow up over here is get your economy back in shape, get your tank factory back up, getting another Hellhound over here, which is the absolutely bane of Necrons. The Hellhound tier 2 is not finished yet for him, so I have the tech advantage over here. The turret will, however, do quite a lot of damage even as is, but in comes the Hellhound, and the Hellhound will deal a lot of damage to generators, and you see the AoE is also big enough to attack 2 generators. Very hard here, even killing the the builder scraps as they want to repair. So the Hellhound is the absolutely super way of fighting Necron generators. Even getting a turret over here because these Pioneers will not be able to get this point down, so I built a turret. So this is something you can do with the Pioneers if they get to a point they cannot hold by their own or attack by their own, get the turret up and do it that way. Yeah, and in comes the Immortals, but Immortals not reinforced and not upgraded with anything from the summoning core like the increased Necrodamus. They can be focused down, especially by the Kimedon over here, while these guys still focus on the list and on the generators. But nicely using the phase shift over here to saving this generator at least for a bit. Getting now the vehicle cap increase, and what do I go for? Expanded infantry weapon cage. For I'm not really sure for what. For these guys, probably for some missile launchers and stuff like that. As I said, it's a mandatory upgrade no matter what. And now getting a hell of a lot of damage done to my stuff. Getting another turret over here this time, so I'm getting turrets all over the place because I can. This listen post is still upgraded, and yeah, this is what kept me actually in the game. This point that it is standing here and being absolutely nice. Now adding some late game Wrath Riders because I want to tie down the Immortals. Not sure if this is the wisest plan ever. I think it would be better to get the Legionary Brakes and Lieutenant Colonel or some infantry. Not infantry, what is it called again? The heavy bolter guys over here. Now I will use this point, lose this point, but I have this point over here, so he's getting a 2-pronged attack in. And you see I also have the Salamander Scout Tank because I want to slow them with the Salamander Scout Tank suppression, and then tie them into melee with the Wrath Riders, and then kill them with the Kimedon over here. But yeah, the execution you see here, the Kimedon will probably die before anything else. But yeah, in comes the Salamander Scout Tank and the Wrath Riders, and Wrath Riders, force them back at least. And he is attacking on the other side again. But I do have my upgraded HQ still. I do get some Stormtroopers now to diversify. As I see the Immortals, I was like, okay, I cannot stick on only vehicles. So that's why I get some Stormtroopers. So the Stormtroopers actually deep striking that deep to attack the Immortals right away. They are however getting attacked by the turret as well, so they will get some big fire for them as well. So the Stormtroopers deep striking into too deep is a certain way to kill them, let them be killed pretty easily. Yeah, he's using his time killing this listening post, which is fine by me. I got a turret over here and also some heavy bolters guys, which I should not move any closer. Getting now the infantry HP to make my stormtroopers and Wrath Riders better. So you see the Wrath Riders have broken morale, they do not deal any damage. What they do, however, is tying down these Immortals. And even these Immortals firing on them and not on my Salamander scouting over here. Which is, yeah, very nice. And yeah, I need to micro these guys all around. You see quite a awesome game at our hands. These heavy bolters here firing as their life depends on it, because their life actually depends on it. If I would be absolutely perfect in micro, I would have put this guy almost dead in the listing post, so he would be alive and the listing post would be firing. But yeah, what I do also is getting this point back over here, getting another heavy bolter guy over here. He needs to stay down here, and now is already on the range of the fire bunker. My push over here gets halted, but I get this point back, and I hold this push at the other side where I kill a lot of Necron warriors. So there's, even though this push was defending his push was also really nice. So the question is now, what do I go for now? Getting more heavy voltages. I think I have them on Overwatch, so I need to stop it at some point. And just Stormtrooper here with 3 units inside. And this guy, where's my Lieutenant Colonel? Lieutenant Colonel, not sure if he was doing a whole lot, but he was standing around there. I can get the Oaken bodyguards, and this is something normal Imperial Guards struggles, is these Wraith and Legion. Steel Legion also kind of struggles, but you can get your Lieutenant Colonel as well to fight for it, because range damage is normally not the way. Another push coming over here, but you see on the numbers that it is not as big of a push as we had before. So the question is now, do I push on my own or do I defend? These are not upgraded listing posts, so the big defending choke is over here. So you see it me preparing already by building a turret. Never go wrong with a turret or two with Steel Legion. And yeah, using my resources as the best as I can, having now 3 heavy weapon teams. Maybe need to get them over here. I have the expanded infantry weapon cage, so I could go for some disruption in the form of some mortars as well. It's always getting up, right? Yeah, there you go. I was actually waiting for it, wasn't I? See, once it is up, that's why you use a move and not a normal move command. It's going up again. That goes. Turret is now up over here. Guys coming in. There's now a Chimera going for the heavy bolter. So I did go for the infantry doctrine, which I think I showed before. But yeah, he is just standing in here in the middle of the fire control bunker. The turret was firing in, and now my units come back from the side over here. The Necron is trying to delay this. I'm not sure if the tank factor will go down again or not. What do I get over here? Another stormtrooper? No, actually the infantry range damage increase. And yet heavy bolters over here. Is there still 3? I count 3, and now they are opening fire on this infantry blob. They will try to attack this tank bunker, and I think they will also succeed, but at what cost? There's a lot of damage being dealt to them from the backside. There's the Necron Lord, but the Necron Lord also being challenged in melee by the Lieutenant Colonel over with his power mace he gets from the first commander upgrade over here. So he will deal some damage back, and the Necron Lord cannot tie up 3 heavy support teams and the stormtroopers at once. So they will be able to kill my tank factory again, but not be able to field anything else. Getting my stormtroopers back because I have all the infantry upgrades, so they will be very nice. And yeah, the Necron Lord will be guided out of here. They take and hold victories at 2 minutes as well. There's now a Wraith not attacking this, so this is kind of sad for him. It is not in red stance over here. But they go for rebuilding a Pioneers is always a nice idea. And yeah, having now this Armageddon pattern Chimera with the heavy bolter turret, stormtroopers, 1 stormtrooper back in my radar tower, heavy bolter guys over here. So this is now getting a push from my side again. The Wraith is decapping the middle, which it absolutely need to. And in comes the Necron Lord. Okay, they can actually tie down into melee, so they use their combat knives in melee, which is interesting. But in comes the Lieutenant Colonel trying to deal something about them. And these guys are continuing firing even at close range. And you see here that I have summoned in the veteran legionaries, because I needed some more infantry at the front, and I had the camera over here, so there you go. Not rebuilding the tank factory for now, because I do put everything I can in reinforcing these units over here. I also need to upgrade my points, because I'm starting to float a lot of power. Getting my points upgraded is helpful, and is you feel it faster than getting actually the requisition upgrade. I gave those guys plasma rifles because I'm fighting Necrons. They are all heavy infantry. Yeah, the front line will be my open bodyguards over here. I decapped this point with the veteran legionary stormtroopers over here. Heavy bolter teams at the side. Chimera at the front. I still haven't called in my second squad of stormtroopers because I forgot. It is not not a strategy. I just forgot about it. So there you go. But in overall, this now winds in closer to an end because it all depends if Yaoshin can hold this push or not. My position, map position is okay. His map position is okay. It all depends on the army here. If I can withstand his forces over here, and you see the plasma gun damage is quite high. Now here, even those guys getting some plasma guns from my end, having a lot of plasma guns for the infantry. And yeah, this is a push that will not be held. Spoiler. So I will be able to finish the game out over here. There's now even getting my rightful point on his side of the map over here again. This point also getting captured again. So always keep your pioneers working. These building a tank factory. They are building a listing post. They are capturing. So all your pioneers should be busy all the time. Kind of similar to how Necron scabs should be busy 100% of the time. Stormtroopers were deep striked a little closer in and now getting out again. The Chimera is here, can be repaired and should be repaired by the Pioneer Squad. Still 2 heavy bolter support teams over here. Tank factories again, and the Hellhound to close this out, because we saw what Hellhounds can do to the enemy generators. There's so now some death marks, but there are no immortals to support them. So while these will kill infantry very well, there will be nothing to deal with the whole blob. They will kill some models, but not much. Now getting even my heavy bolter teams in range, and yeah, you see they also die relatively quick if you get in range at some point. The Necron Lord is for the most part ignored or now forced into melee by this Lieutenant Colonel, and yeah, once the first Hellhound is coming in, this is the end of the game. You see that not moving them in through here because there's a lot of infantry blobbing going on already. So if I would move them in here, I wouldn't be able to get them in very easily, and also they would pass my own infantry. So my idea was to move to the side. Even better would have been to move them right through the middle and attack on this side right away. Given that there's also this turret over here, maybe, yeah, there would be something about it. So there were mistakes on both sides, but in general, I think a good showcase of what Steel Legion can do for you. I very much enjoyed this game. Yaoshin was a bit sad as he had some lags at 2 points in the game. So that sometimes happens and is sad, of course, because especially if it's a game this close, without the lags he may or may not have been able to get on the victory side of this game. But yeah, this now closes in the Steel Legion guide. If you have anything to add, if I have told some wrong information, you can correct me and add the information in the comments below. If you like them, also leave a like, as usual, guys. And yeah, without further ado, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye!